Hey, let's go, Chris! Big back, Chris! Hey, shake it! The first one! Shake your heart! Ah! Look at it!
Yes, that's it, Chris!
Hey, let's be confident, time!
Elise!
Hustle, mate. Good work.
Bravo!
Shoot, start!
Come shoot it!
Josh up!
Come on,
Hey!
Let's go, Mando. Come on. Let's go. Well, keep running.
Way, Mando. Way to get down here, right up, well done.
Good hustle. Great work, Mando. Marcel, very busy. Andy, show your thing. What your Hey, we're going to do straight up and away. Or home.
Which is home and which is away?
Just confirming, this is home?
Yeah, it's home. Okay, straight into back in.
Okay,
Pie Wagon and Brisbanites. At the moment, Pie Wagon 1-1, Brisbanites 0-2. But depending on results, if Crank do beat Umami and Brisbanites get over the top of Pie Wagon, there's potentially a three-way tie for second place.
You love to see it. A good old three-way tie, coming down to goal difference perhaps. Pie Wagon had a great performance against Umami yesterday. And well, the Brisbanites have started well here early. McCarthy catching on the full, going through Prosser and now Chris Lavis. The horizontal set for the Newcastle Pie Wagon, trying to stretch things vertically. Frendo. Prosser. Prosser coming under to Adams, who it goes through hands. The Brisbanites get another opportunity. And it's Jimmy Hung. He points, he knows what he wants. He's going to send it, and without a cut moving, It's going to be a turnover.
Jimmy Hung in the action early. That first point, he created fantastic defensive effort, just out-reading and nudging his opponent under the disc. That started the chain of events for their first score.
So Pie Wagon get it back. And now it's Friendo. McCarthy, for a moment, in power position. Friendo goes faster with Prosser. McCarthy getting some width at the moment. Has some space. I think Prosser needs to realise. Instead, he's just going to send a deep one looking for Friendo. Friendo has a step. He lands a step outside the end zone, and then the easy flip into Balasa. That's better by the Pie Wagon.
Much better by the Pie Wagons. They just settled early, using the width of the field with some small handler movement. When the time was right, picked out Friendo towards the end zone. As you see this big shot go up from Prosser. He had steps on the defender, and then calm on the doorstep here as the Brisbanites defense scramble. Just punches one through to Balasa.
No, just dumping remix again, folks, sorry.
Should we keep going? Well, I think Prosser, he's made an amazing throw there. Just something to be aware of perhaps for him.
Just
deep game with the tall boys getting up for a nice score. The defenders just not setting up in space there. So Brisbanites defense just allowing Pie Wagon to have that long game, and maybe a look into stymieing that going forward.
But it's been a story of the game so far, and of all the games so far this weekend, is that the throwing lanes are quite narrow, and I think that's a function of the weather, where due to the breeze there's not a lot of variation when the disc is in flight, so you can throw into much narrower lanes than perhaps you used to. So defenses aren't quite on that page yet where they're realising that they need to play a little bit closer. This pull will go out of bounds on the full by Mickael. He's gotten every piece of that.
Yeah, like you said, when there's a bit more variation than disc flight, a lot of defenses will say, look, I've created a small enough
Hey Josh, what's the inside and like the inside?
Hey Cam, bit more space between you and Quinn.
Tsang is around here.
He's lucky. Give it contact.
Thank you. Yay!
Let's go! Yes. Nice job. Lovely put, Mickael.
Put the O-line on. Oh my gosh. O-line! 3D points. Nice, Mikey.
Stand up.
Sorry,
Simon, taking one off. You had one on?
I can stay still. Perfection. Very impressive there by Wagon, so that's fine now.
Pretty good follow from the thrower to the catcher and then the window.
Back here, my dude. How you doing?
Hey,
How you doing?
good man.
That's the way. Thanks for being out here.
No worries. Thanks for playing. Yeah, coming. Coming, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, hello? Can you guys hear me or no?
To the lane, and it's been punished by Hannah.
What a reflexive layout there by Al.
Reflexive layout there by Al. Entity another opportunity.
Goes to the block, get Al, and Al now is going to try and put up a hug. It's caught on the full by Chris Lavis. And Lavis coming back the other way is going to reach out and send it to Jack Humphreys, who's one-on-one. It's really deep. Humphreys, it looks like he's gone too far. Chris Lavis calling best perspective from some 60 yards away, saying it was in. After conversations yesterday about his backhand throwing style, we were having a chat after the game. He mentioned that he's been struggling to get power and using gloves and doing some changes. He's had no troubles there. He ended up putting that one all the way out the end zone.
So again, the Brisbanites stack very deep.
The Brisbanites stack very deep.
The spaces they can attack.
It's just closing off.
They need to reposition as the handers get forced backwards.
Hung with the in and away. Oh, and then just turfed. It's one out ultimate at the moment for the Brisbanites as the downfield cutters are struggling to have an impact. Prosser in the space. Humphreys goes. Now Lavis. Back to Sanders. Dominator movement by Lavis. Lavis in the end zone. And Lavis is going to celebrate the score. A diving Jimmy Hung can't get the block. And another break for Wagon. The score is confirmed.
It's a very nice team effort by Wagon. That is Lavis's first score to go with the block, but plenty of contributors all round. He was confident that was in. Jimmy Hung doing all he can for his team. Brisbanites just not able to sustain the intensity that they started the game with. Gone down 4 breaks in a row. And I'm a little surprised they haven't called another timeout to reset. I think it's just the spacing of the offensive set at the moment. The vertical. Renica has position all day.
Almost the scraps there by number 98, Darren Chung.
Okay, so he comes back to the Wagon again. Nothing working on offense for the Brisbanites at the moment.
Yeah, they really were forcing the issue. They hadn't created space at the back, but they just wanted to throw it anyway. Look, at least this time they get a bit of field position compared to getting a short turnover. Or giving away the short turnover, rather.
Bolton bringing it up. Darren Chung on the mark.
Very smart by Bolton with the sleeves, sunnies and the hat. Tips
McKee sees something that he likes. He's going to go long. There's a poach off the back. And so it does go the way of Andrew Parker, who read the eyes of McKee. So Brisbanites on offense now. Nice break throw. This is better. The cut's going. Scuba now, continuing the break side flow. And the break throw. Oh, there it is for the Brisbanites. It's the score that they've been wanting. It's Isabel Hamilton in the end zone. Recipient from an Andrew Parker throw. Critical that the Brisbanites got on the board, because this game, after 4 consecutive breaks, was looking all kinds of worrying. 5-3.
Finally, Brisbanites, their prayers are answered. A nice speedy cut there by Hamilton, shaking free. They worked down such a narrow channel, as you called earlier, Daniel. The team's wise to using those small opportunities given. Some pinpoint throws this time, getting them out of trouble.
I think now is the opportunity for the Brisbanites to just come together offensively and just have a chat. They're on defense, so they've got a moment to have a chat about their approach. I think they really need to recognize that at the moment they're not creating space on the field. They're stretched too deep with their stacks, so they need to shorten things up to give more throwing options.
It's a good pull. Forces Wagon to start in the back corner.
Here's Humphrey to McCarthy. Rosser coming under. He's laid out for it and kept it up. Calder's in. Beeling on the mark. Balasa. The give go with Prosser. And Prosser sees that he's got 2 receivers, one of which is Danny Adams at the back. And Adams is going to catch the score.
Very well done by Pie Wagon. Brisbaneite defense, just no answers at all to their flow. Prosser's just free at the moment. Free swinging arm to put all those long ones. And Adams just reading it best. Frendo was there in support, but Adams just reading that curve, that outside in shape to perfection. No pressure whatsoever on the reception.
At the moment, the Brisbanites have got problems on offense and they can't really work on the problems on defense at the moment because of the problems on offense. They're going to need to be a little bit closer, I think, on Luke Prosser. They need to bring more pressure because at the moment he is the focal point of the Newcastle Pie Wagon offense. McCarthy happy to play second fiddle at the moment to the streaming blonde locks of Luke Prosser.
Be interested to see if the Brisbanites come out in that same vertical stack or if they vary things up. Even just like a horizontal set to open up both the under and the break space.
Either way, I'd love to see Jack Lilwall take a little bit of ownership. Really set the tone on offense here. He'll catch the pull. And then he goes to Parker. Parker, this one pops up in the air. Better by the Brisbanites. They've got some momentum. A reset. Wise move. Getting it off the sideline. Parker. Lilwall. A really loose mark by Kerr and McKee as they're trying to force back to the middle.
Stack have to adjust. Again, Avila's, they're all cutting from the front of Stack, but they're too far away and they're getting forced even further back.
Power cutting by Arto out of the Stack. Lilwall engages, covered pretty well by McKee, forcing the high loopy throw. And Lilwall showing good composure. Anderson gathers on the second one. And a wide one. Oh, the Stack is just, they're struggling with positioning down the field. Lilwall is going to be forced into a wide pass out to Avila. Avila using the stall. Lilwall now gets the reset. Parker, they're on the doorstep. Arto for the score. That was so much better by the Brisbanites. So much better on offense. They were struggling, but they stuck with it. And through heart, they got it done.
Their best offensive set yet. Megan, O'Regan, Arto there with the score. I have to say the timing of their cuts, they actually coordinated really well when there were only one or two cuts at a time, and they were clearing hard as well, which created space for that next option. They did have some high stall situations, but because they were working hard to clear for each other, it meant that they had some alternatives as the stack kept cycling through.
Sometimes you do it the hard way, and the Brisbanites definitely do it the hard way with the stack so spread out and so deep. The cuts are having to be long-range efforts, but they did it.
Yeah, and that's 2 holds in a row for the Brisbanites too. So this way to flip the script a little bit here in the first half. Finally starting to settle into this game.
Trading out the last couple of points.
So Brisbanites on D. Let's see if they can stymie the long game of Pie Wagon.
Now, that layout block earlier. Puts up a pull. Oh, and Sanders. A loose one out of the hands that forces McCarthy to back up. Frendo. Resets to McCarthy. Now Balasa who's free. And Adams. Adams has just created some space. And as she seems to do all the time, she scores another one for Newcastle Pie Wagon.
Pie Wagon finding it easy just to keep chipping through the middle there. Some easy undercuts, and I don't think Balas actually meant to throw it out that far for a score, but recognising the way that this was going and that she had steps in the corner, as we see here on the replays, they said attacking through the middle. I like this really aggressive movement. So you see McCarthy, a nice shot through to Balasa, and this one floats longer than intended and makes use of the meters.
I think Adams, being the experienced receiver that she is, just recognised that throw, she had two options. Either she could go and attack it early or she could let it run, and I think she realised that if she lets it run, she's actually going to score, and sometimes that's the difference. And Adams is just one of those perennial end zone threats. She's constantly a danger and just scores so much. Back on defense for Pie Wagon as Winchester will pull. Seems that he's stolen the disc from Mike McKee, who's been doing a lot of the pulling. And now Lilwall bring it in for the Brisbanites, and the Brisbanites are very deep. Parker is going to put up a backhand though. The wind, and then Kerr rides the bus. Great defense by Chris Kerr in the end. Bolton sees something and he wants to go fast. McKee going to try and keep it in. And Kerr's going for the double happiness. McKee with a nice outside in forehand. Just putting it in the basket. Pie Wagon. Well, all of a sudden they take half.
Very efficient. We're only 35 minutes on the clock, and Pie Wagon, their long game, just shredding the Brisbanites at the moment. No answers whatsoever. Just wanting to get out of the Brisbane sun. As we see here, just perfectly placed to the end zone. Enough curve to get it into the chest. And Pie Wagon, what a spectacular way to stamp on this first half. They want this outright second place in their pool. They want the momentum going to the quarterfinals.
I think that half defined by the 4-point defensive run for Pie Wagon, going from 2-1 down to 5-2 up. And then a series of holds and then a turn and a break to finish the half. That's going to lead us into the second half here from this final pool play matchup, the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships 2025. We're going to take a break along with the players, get some water on board and perhaps some more sunscreen as we head to the conclusion of this match.
Trying to impress me, pulling out all the stops, making my head dizzy when you tell me what you want. I just wanted you to see me, never thought you'd notice. Thought that you should know I'm already sold, so never let me go. You had me at a la 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 la. Lost and out of focus, I can hear a word you say. 'Cause I don't care about your game, I just wanted you to see me. Thought that you should know I'm already sold, so never let me go. You already had a talking, I don't care. With you, my mind is clear. La 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 la. Have me at hello. La 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 la. Have me at hello. La 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 la.
So both teams just in the huddles. We look back at the standings for Pool B heading into this game. Well, Crank out in front 2-0. They're playing Umami over on the far field. Umami were 1-1, having lost to Wagon, but also beat Brisbanites. Currently on this field, Wagon 1-1 heading into this game. Their victory against Umami, a loss against Crank, and now it's Brisbanites, Wagon to settle out those last few spots in this game. Overall team, the Brisbanites, a team full of relatively young and up-and-coming talents. Your thoughts on how this game is playing out so far?
Yeah, I think Jimmy Hung has definitely tried his hardest. He came out firing and was a big part of their first hold and then their break score. I like the look of Megan O'Regan Arto. She's played a couple of seasons as Fuse on the Div 1 level, so she's got a bit more experience under the belt. Avila's been impressive as well, working really hard in the cutting space, and Parker and Kirkby in the handler space. So they've got the tools there. It's just about getting it together. And as we see the Wagon roster, familiar to us, many names, Lavis, Adams, Sanders has been getting big in this game too. Of course, McCarthy and Prosser marshalling the troops in the back space. But Blas has been very handy downfield, as has Humphreys and Winchester as well.
Speaking with Wagon before the game, it was very much a conversation focused around managing legs, managing energy levels. The short roster, only 7 women. Hard to run out a 3-day tournament. Advantage Div 1 this year. Far fewer games than usual, with only 8 teams in the competition. Yeah,
today's a short Saturday actually, so 1 pool game each for each team, and then the next time slot will be the quarterfinals. So
a 2-game day. It's quite casual, really.
Yeah.
It's a long way from some of the tournaments in yesteryear where it was a 4 or a 5-game day, where things have changed greatly and allows for greater energy, greater enthusiasm, and hopefully fewer injuries as well.
Yeah, when you're on, you really bring up the intensity, knowing that you can give it your all. I'm sure everyone will be looking to give it their all in this last pool play game before settling into the quarters.
McCarthy catching that one on the full, and then the give go with Chris Lavis.
So here's some counting. Looks like some switching of the force. So Brisbanites have elected to force middle on this defensive set.
Lavis looks and sees Frendo going. Frendo's got a step. Avila manages to track it down. Gets a hand on it. Deflects it enough such that Frendo can't catch it.
Just millimetres there, getting his fingernail on the disc of Villa, enough to affect the last flight path of that disc. And Brisbanites showing some life, getting things firing in the second half. So this force middle actually opens up that channel for the big backhand hark, but the advantage was that there was just enough time for the downfield defense to be able to get in position to affect the play.
Vila knowing it needs to be closer and was close enough in the end. Brisbanites super deep again. First pass turn. It's going to be in the red zone, so Prosser is going to pick it up for Wagon. McCarthy the reset. Adams works in space off the front of the stack. Prosser for a moment thinks about throwing it. McCarthy. Lavis, some width for Wagon. Cuts queuing up on the far side of the field. Wagon trying to manipulate the defense and create some angles. Throwing for the scorers, Humphreys, and it's McCarthy in the end zone. Cut up the line, dangerous as always. McCarthy spots her opportunity, taking Wagon again further out in front.
I mean, that was a clean hold. That was a hold for Wagon, but this is the first time we've seen Brisbanites make some inroads here on defense. They weren't looking likely at all in the first half. Wagon just throwing throws at will, attacking that deep space particularly. So the fact that they've actually got the disc off the Wagon offense, I think that's fantastic signs for the Brisbanites.
You can see McCarthy just kind of effort as always. The motor's always going, and the defense not getting right side.
I think there was some confusion around the force as well. It looked like Hess was starting to put more of a flat mark and then got told to come around to force to the sideline. But it didn't look like the downfield defenders were cluey to that, and they weren't set up in the space. Sevilla, much smarter defender than that. So again, it's a couple of miscommunication issues for the Brisbanites. They'll need to tidy that one up and do it quick, smart too.
Jimmy Hung, middle of the field. Going to go with the break. Through Beeling. Now Al. And Al has got two cutters. Covered all the way by Ziegman. So another turn now.
Disappointing for Brisbanites, although I have to say the offensive flow looked good. The option was on. It was just a small execution and overthrow in the end.
Some key to pick it up for Wagon. Wagon electing to go vertical stack. Sanders is going to be the reset. Normally this is Winchester off the back, and it will be again. And Winchester's just getting in a foot race. Well, that's a hot one inside. Throw by Sanders. Brisbanites get the turn. Not far to go. It's Kirby. Width immediately. McFadden. Out to Ryland. McFadden gets it back, and now Jimmy Hung. Hung gestures under. He looks for the break. Hung immediately trying to get the frisbee back. McKee does a pretty good job. Stall count rising. The Brisbanites. Al. The cut. Open side. It's huge. What a massive grab up high. Beeling in the end. Getting a score for the Brisbanites.
And the Brisbanites, the second half, just day and night compared to the first. Offensive, showing that they really want the disc. Just attacking that break side. We had Jimmy Hung, a couple of inside breaks there to really open things up. In the end, they got plenty of open side space to work with. And Beeling just strikes across and gets his shoulder in front of the defender. And a very nice finish there for the Brisbanites.
Thus far in this game, the Brisbanites have struggled to get much pressure on this Wagon O-line.
Yeah, just generated that one turnover on their previous defensive point. So they'll be looking to try and apply their pressure again, get their foot on the pedal, force the issue here.
4 women for this point. McCarthy has been so critical for Wagon. She has it now in the middle of the field. Lavis. Love this combination between McCarthy and Lavis. They seem to work really well together. Here's Balasa. Adams just sits down in some space, keeps the offense moving. Humphries finds himself in the reset. Lavis, dangerous spot for such a good throw as Sanders recognises the teammate that's got it and makes the cut and gets the score. Wagon just cruising down the field.
Way too smooth. I think they just had a one-way force on that person defense. They looked much better when they were switching the force and forcing middle. I'm unsure why they didn't try it a second time. Maybe just cluey to the big hucks of the Lavises and the McKees and the Prosses.
And that throw by Lavis, it's just anyone watching at home, that's about the most perfect throw that you could make there. It's an outside-in forehand. It kind of just sits in the air. It holds up a little bit, and you watch Sanders actually catch that on her chest as she's running through. It looks routine, and for a player like Chris Lavis, who is so good with disc in hand, it is routine. But that is the routine that you're aiming to develop as you develop as a thrower, and having that ability to touch on your throws, make it nice and catchable. It ends up being a routine-looking play based in a lot of hard work over the years.
Definitely an underrated skill, being able to apply touch to your throws. And Brisbanites will see if they can put a bit of touch on this offensive possession.
That's a lot of space underneath. Nathan Pegg goes the inside out to Alexi Villas. And Villas, who's in the red zone, sends Kerr the wrong way. Now the inside out. Oh, what a loud grab that is. Gwendolyn Cunningham getting horizontal. And the Brisbanites score again.
I love this by the Brisbanites. No fear in putting those flick inside-out shapes. The earlier one going to the inside forward. And this one, this is not vision that most Frisbee players in Australia have, but just identifying that they could attack that space. As we see here on the replay, that goes nicely to Al, and Al just goes, okay, I'm just going to chuck this in front to that far side. Has to squeeze it through the big frame of McKee, but way to get down to connect that pass. So I'm loving the confidence by the Brisbanites. They are playing with some pizzazz. They're not shying away from this game. So going, we're going to give it our best shot here. I guess that's the thing when you graduate from a Division 2 to Division 1. You are playing some really stiff opponents. But the great thing about this is that the development that you get from playing against, opponents of a higher caliber and quality, it's exponential growth for you. After this tournament, the growth that you get is potentially a lot more than what you get playing another Div 2 season.
Indeed, fewer opportunities. You have to be a little bit more clinical. You have to play that a little bit harder. Lavis back to Prosser. The defensive change now. Brendo going short. Oh, that's a low catch by Humphries. Confidently with the left hand around the knees. Just waited for the Balasa cut. Saw it developing as the space cleared. Here's Prosser. He's close to the end zone. McCarthy, the around throw. The bid. And for the first time in a while, seems that the Wagon have coughed it up.
That is that force middle again. So that works out well because Wagon lulled into a bit of a false sense of security, being forced backhand all the way and trying to force that backhand too far for McCarthy. But the defender had just come around to force it back to Flik, and that was enough to cause the misthrow.
Millwall, big breaking backhand, looping out and around. Brisbanites go to work. Tsang. Millwall trying to get free. Here he is. Avila comes under. Pressure from Humphries. Avila catches well up high. Prado. Big call. I think Monica Taylor at the moment, she's drawn the Balassa, or Balassa's drawn the Taylor matchup, should I say, and if Taylor can find a way free from the tight defense of Annabelle Balassa, would be a key that unlocks the Pie Wagon defense. At the moment, though, Balassa has her on lockdown. Avila to Prado. Prado pointing, knows what she wants. Friendo bids low, so does Lilwall. It's a turnover. And so McCarthy picks it up for Pie Wagon. Deep cut from Balassa, creating space underneath. Adams going to go. Holds on to it, reverses the field. Back to Humphries. Humphries with no mark on will allow the defense, the offense to clear up. And now McCarthy, a backhand huck. Prado rises. Huge defense by Prado.
And there's an injury called Avila, unfortunately, coming off, but you can kind of sense this small little change of tide here. Brisbanites, this is their second shot at converting the break. They worked their way up almost. It was just the last score on the previous opportunity that went begging, but Prado here earns it back after throwing away. Important her to get up high, intercepting that ahead of Balassa.
Sense the energy has shifted. Lilwall, he's going to need to reset this. Instead, he just goes one out, looking deep for Hess. A pack forms. Humphries over the top. There might be a call. Hess, no. Waves it away. McCarthy. Pass to Prosser. Balassa under. So important for this Pie Wagon team. Balassa defensively has been doing a job. Friendo slipping as he tries to catch it. Now Parker looking for Lilwall. Lilwall puts on the afterburners. Jack the Snack is in the end zone. Oh, and then he dunks it.
Makes a meal of that huck. The Brisbanites finally convert. They've progressed so well. All smiles there for coach and captain Jack Lilwall. You just sense that slight shift, as you said, in momentum, Daniel. And that was just an unfortunate slip by Friendo, but not being asked twice. And Brisbanites go third time lucky on this break opportunity. And a captain's goal to boot. And they force Pie Wagon to call a timeout here as well.
So, timeout called. And Pie Wagon, the energy definitely shifting. Brisbanites going to a new level. And Pie Wagon left wondering.
Okay. Yeah, hey, that's their timeout. It's similar to, I think, how we used ours last time. They're starting to rush. They've lost a bit of patience. Sick friggin' D from Party. Getting this guy that was like,
She just turned it all of us. She was just resting.
Hey, again, apologies that I hucked that. That is not the thing that we talked about. But we got it back and we hit something that was a lot more clear. Yeah, not from like dead disc upwind when the whole stack's ready and watching. Otherwise, to keep that patience rolling. We're still mostly rolling with like a straight up to the back end. There's less of them that have the back end huck than the flick huck. So. Game plan doesn't really change much. Thank you, sir. A little bit of brains on the patience. Spot on. Okay, keep it rolling. Hey, space opposed.
So good.
Quinlan! Quinlan.
Just do quick. Yeah.
That's on three. 1, 2, 3. Nice!
Lilwall taking some ownership with a poor
decisions.
hucking decision where he kind of got the old blinders on and laser visioned in on the receiver.
But very clear message there, I think, which is super important, right? You got to keep your team focused, not overload them with too much to think about. So keep rolling, keep playing as a team. I think they were having a chat about those backhand hucks. So just lulling the Pie Wagons into a little bit of a trap.
Interesting thing is that Pie Wagon, with a couple of breaks in hand, probably don't need to change too much. Certainly, I think the timeout, though, well timed. Just the energy had completely shifted. And I think Lilwall actually, his words were probably best where they were rushing it. I think that's fair comment in that Wagon weren't being as patient as they had been previously. And Rosser resets to McCarthy, Dominator. McCarthy again. Now McCarthy runs the Dominator. Lavis off the front of the stack. Adams is gone. At the moment, the cuts are not well timed out of the stack. Rosser is going to need to find a reset. Does find the angle, Beeling. Oh, and then the big layout bid. Rosser, I think it just missed the target though.
So I saw a couple of the Brisbanites defenders, the ones on Prosser and Lavis, they were putting a flat mark when they got the disc. So that's deterring those long options, which they were having such difficulty stopping earlier.
Throw out into space. Balasa, heavy pressure on Hanarau. Oh, a great catch. That one's going to hang out there, and Lavis is just going to go get it. Wise defending by Lavis, giving no opportunity for Jimmy Hung.
So Cunningham has drawn the Lavis matchup. He's going to put a big flat mark here, and the same for Beerling, who gets the Prosser matchup. So they're forcing the undercuts. Ooh, a small hand onto that.
Oh, that is a laser. An absolute laser by McCarthy, seeing Frendo going, and Adams was also on her bike. Just overdone it.
Very wasteful of Wagon. So Brisbanites getting under their skin, as Lilwell was saying in the huddle, just pressuring them to make some rush decisions, in fact. You can just sense a little bit of nervousness and second guessing here in the Wagon's game.
Cunningham, it's a reset from Hung. Now Beeling underneath. Well covered by Luke Prosser. High stall, forced into an inside-out flick. It's going to go out of bounds. Wagon, they get another life.
So very clear on the away call now with the short field.
Carthy out to Adams. Now Ziegman nearly on the goal line. Going to try and jump it in. Going to get called as a goal. As simple as that. That's all Wagon needed.
Oh, that was, again, that's the third big miscommunication error on defense by Brisbanites. They had such, I guess, shift in that momentum. They were under Wagon's skin, but just that lapse in concentration, the away force not being recognised by the on-field players, they let an easy one slip. So that's a real let-off here by the Wagons, who are under immense pressure.
7-11. Must say, go a slushy or an icy right now. It is a warm day, and it's not overly oppressively hot. It's just very humid at the moment, 29 degrees.
I think it's more the contrast of yesterday. That didn't feel like there was much humidity at all. The nice breeze cooling us down.
But I don't know what the weather's been like in Brisbane, but certainly in Newcastle, the weather has been relatively mild. It's been quite cool, low 20s the last week. So potentially a rude shock to the Novocastrians who have come up here to Brisbane, and the locals. They're down a couple of points here. Some wasteful offense from both teams. It's just at the moment, Wagon have had the more clinical outcomes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That run early.
Yeah, it feels like Wagon's just starting to dip a little bit in their execution and their composure, whereas the Brisbanites are just starting to ramp up here. So if they can just convert a couple of those opportunities and make it count on the scoreboard, we'll go a long way in this game.
Monica Taylor back. I like this move, getting her more involved. I feel that her throws, that could be the difference maker for this Brisbanites offense. Here's Lilwall in a power position for a moment. Vila gets the reset back.
Oh, the players are way too spread out here. They need to adjust. There's no options at all.
S looping one up and over and around to Isabel Hamilton. Now Lilwall gets back. In too deep though. Lilwall has no space to throw in too deep. Needs to reset it or find something. He goes low. Hard throw. I see Lilwall engage that reset earlier. Get the disc moving and then get it back. I think if he goes with Dominator, he will get more looks at the offense. At the moment, it's very static for him. He's looking down the field and there's not much. He needs to get more looks. McKee bringing it in for Bolton. Now Sanders. Balassa plays underneath. They string it together. Doe. Sanders. Balassa looks for the give go. Sanders saves it. Getting horizontal to keep possession. Here's McKee. Bolton. Give go with McKee. Bolton bouncing off the contact. Bolton engaging, looking for Sanders. Oh, he's flicked his wrist and the disc has just taken off.
Brisbanites need to settle here. Jack Lilwall needs to marshal the troops. See a long option going.
He's going to reach for Carlos Avila. And Avila has a step. Avila catches a big score in the end for Brisbanites. That is a break. And they bring in that deficit, just one more score. Avila, who'd worked so hard on defense, forcing Bolton to run both ways. He got the step and Lilwall just outside in. In these conditions, deadly. You can make those more indoor ultimate frisbee throws rather than the outdoor ones. There's no breeze to kind of take the disc away or push it down.
So looking at the second half alone, it's actually Brisbanites up a break. So the last time that Pie Wagon broke the Brisbanites offense, all of the breaks coming in the first half, so it's pretty even here in the second. Brisbanites continuing to motor and make some inroads on the defense. Again, that switching force, forcing back to the middle, proving successful to earn possession back, but their defensive line now, they'll get an opportunity to set, apply pressure. A good pull by Jimmy Hung sets them up well.
Lavis, McCarthy, they go 1-2, they go 1-2-2-3. And small conversation between Hannah Au and Britt McCarthy.
I think Hannah Au's calling a foul there. She felt that McCarthy had stepped into the shoulder.
McCarthy breaks the mark to Prosser. Lavis. McCarthy in space. Adams is gone. The mark, though, very flat, taking away the deeper option. Humphreys. Adams again, finding space. First deep, now under. Goes the around. Oh, Lavis up high. Great catch. Here's Prosser. They stretch the field to Pie Wagon. Lavis in the middle of the field. Humphreys. Cuts to the corner. Balassa can't get it. Humphreys, the second option to McCarthy. Some conversations around what's she in.
So again here, switching force. There was frantic shouting of away, away on that last one, but Humphreys says, doesn't matter, I'm going to break you anyway. And rifles that one into McCarthy, who has just enough room for the goal.
A hold. Needed one. Offensively, Pie Wagon going back to something that has given them more success, that more clinical, a little bit more considered approach, a little bit more patient. Not trying to push the disc quite so aggressively down the field.
think that's also kudos to Brisbanites with their defence. You noticed a lot of that flat force, and then once they got past the half, that's when they kind of applied that switching force. So I think in a way, Wagon playing into Brisbanites' strategy into forcing that shorter game.
Very well spread performance at the moment by Wagon. Nearly all of their players have either thrown a goal or caught a goal.
Some impressive blocks as well. So Danny Adams, 2 goals, 1 assist. Same with Sarah Sanders. Big high pull, lots of float. Lilwell waits to receive.
Oh, for a moment I thought he'd thrown it. Possibly one of the cleanest fakes I've seen. Bolton is going to get a block here. The throw just too far out in front. I think Bolton gets this moving quickly here. And does, finding Winchester, who's cut like a machine so far today. And now a throw to Ziegman in the end zone by Jake Winchester. A really nice point by Wagon. And a break. Oh, if the Brisbanites are going to make a challenge here, they really did not need that. They need some breaks of their own.
Nice settler for Wagons, looking more like the first half team who generated those 5 breaks and 4 in a row. That one was a clean one to boot, so didn't give possession back at a relatively short field to work with.
And an astute observation about last time Wagon broke, it's been some 5 scores or something for them. All the way back at halftime. But they level the second half now, 1 break apiece. So Winchester, his 2nd assist of the day. And for Ziegman, 2 goals and an assist. Brisbanites, they're on offense again. Bit of a line change. Players making weight.
Sun just ducked behind the clouds as well, so a very welcome cooler breeze now coming across.
What a wicked ball that is. Driving this Brisbanites offense all the way back to practically their own goal line. And after 2 passes, they're not quite at the brick mark. Well, that's a hot one, well caught. The point. McFadden identifying where the space was and where she wanted to cut. Beeling. Beeling up the line. Out of the hand, it looked like it slipped.
Just a very narrow channel. That was a bit of a forced throw. Had time to try and engage in a more solid option.
Jack Kirby was already set up on the inside, Eddie. Reversed and come back, reset the frisbee. Could have kept playing offense. Instead, now they're on defense. A switch off the front of the stack. Winchester calling attention. Kerr. Back to Sanders. Winchester finds it anyway. Now Sanders, power position. Ziegman. Deep into the red zone. Wagon go. They need to find a reset. McKee gets up the line. It's a short pass. He goes the lefty scuba. Sanders for the score. Wagon. They take it to 14-8.
Very clean work by Wagon there. That chain of events just pushing the issue. Trailing defenders of the Brisbanites could not catch up at all to stymie that float. Sanders just too smart, too clever, finding a pocket of space out the back. See here on the replay, McKee just waits for things to evolve and then a cheeky little scuba there. A lefty one at that, into that back pocket. Beautiful use of space by Wagon.
Style points for Mike McKee. I think those watching at home, if you're wondering about what should I do if I was in that situation, probably not throw a scuba.
And probably not a lefty one.
Well, he's left-handed, so it's probably more advised than a righty scuba for him. But certainly I think holding the disc there and resetting sideways, because at the moment, like, he was just looking at a clump. So it had to be a scuba if he was going to throw the goal. Gets it done, but I think moving into the quarters, potentially, that's a small moment where other teams may be able to take advantage. Here's Sanders pulling again, another monster pull that Lil will catch only a few steps outside his own end zone. Taylor, without looking. It's a calamity. It's a turnover. And here is Pie Wagon's opportunity with 14 scores on the board. One more puts them in the winner's seat for this game.
Very slow walk-up by Bolton. They're just setting up a standard vertical stack. McKee is back in support on the dump set.
Oh, he breaks straight away to centralise the disc. Winchester on the doorstep. Bolton, a huge bid, can't stop it. The Pie Wagon, it's rolling into the quarters with a victory. They win 15-8 over the Brisbanites in this game. Bolton catching a score.
Beautiful way to end this game in the peak of the heat in Beenleigh, Queensland. It is 12:15. Time for some well-deserved lunch. And Pie Wagon making decent work here. They earn a date, pending other scores, but it looks like they earn a date against Half Moon in the quarterfinals. That'll be a tantalising matchup there. And just too clean in the end. Pie Wagon, they did have a small dip towards the middle where Brisbanites were starting to get some momentum and ascendancy, but really smart enough to snuffle that one out, end the game on 3 break points in a row. So some very good showing here and some fantastic momentum going into the quarterfinals.
Let's get a wrap it up for this game. Big thank you to the Beenleigh Multi-Sports Association hosting the tournament this weekend. City of Logan here in beautiful Queensland. Perfect one day, beautiful the next. Certainly the weather today has been spectacular, as has been the ultimate. So on behalf of Admiral Tam, I'm Daniel Clinton, and for Alti TV, we'll see you again soon.
Alti.tv